Welcome to Adventures with a Very Small Lathe. Today I'm making the second part of a Watchmaker's Face Plate, the spindle mount and stem. The most critical operation is cutting the 40mm register for the lathe spindle, which has to fit as closely as possible to minimise runout. At first I tried mounting the 50mm stock with the jaws reversed so I could avoid switching the jaws around. I get a lot of chatter though, as the jaw depth is too small and doesn't gripping firmly enough. For the second face, I turned the jaws back to normal, which unfortunately means I have to run the lathe without the chuck guard. Once again the bandsaw didn't cut straight, so the first few passes are very interrupted cuts. I wasn't happy with the finish I was getting, so I switched to a high-speed steel tool for the last pass. I checked the insert under the microscope, which shows the end was very chewed up from all those interrupted cuts, which explains the bad finish. I'm now centering and drilling a 4mm hole right through as a reference. The spindle needs a centre hole to allow watch parts to be drilled through, but it doesn't need to be very large. Drilling with the tailstock needs to be done carefully as the tailstock lacks rigidity and has no alignment adjustment. A second 10mm hole is just large enough for my small boring bar. I drilled to 4mm to allow me to bore the register. The 8mm boring bar causes a lot of chatter because the steel is very tough. So I tried another approach. Because I'm cutting across the stock, the boring bar doesn't need to fit inside the hole if the cut is shallow, so I use the largest I can fit into the tool holder. The results are a lot better. Once I had roughed out the diameter, I switched to boring along the axis to bring the register to dimension. I crept up on the final register dimension very carefully, making sure the part was cool so the dimension was correct. Fortunately, I didn't need to remove the chuck to check the fit, as my Proxxon index rotary table has the same chuck fitting. Once the diameter was correct, I cut a few relief passes toward the centre, as the mount was catching slightly, causing it to rock. Check back for my next video when I'll be machining the rest of this part and hopefully remembering to chamfer the edges.